Welcome back to the Vision Within. We are so excited you're joining us today because we've got an exciting topic called inner guidance. We've all had that, right? Those little voices within us that we may or may not listen to.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about our own experiences of when we listened and when we didn't, big or small. And I'm Lisa.
I'm Lori.
I'm Loretta.
And I'm Katrina.
Thanks again for joining us. So who wants to start out with this whole idea of inner guidance? Loretta?
Oh, it's really incredible. We were just having the conversation just not too long ago, a couple of minutes ago, before we started taping, and I think Kat, you had said that we're all getting this inner guidance, but it looks different for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know for me, I tend to hear a voice in my head to say, hey, shift lanes while you're driving. Look at this, or just kind of random. This voice comes on and just really gives guidance to do or not do an action. And what was it you said? Something about a risk that if we don't listen, it's
Yeah, I think Kat, before we got on camera, you were talking about it's kind of like that red light or maybe it was Laura.
A warning light on the dashboard.
Yeah, Laura,
Right.
on a warning light on the dashboard.
Yes.
And so then I sort of elaborated on that. How many times do we not look at that little blinking light or warning light on the dashboard in our car? And it could be small, it could be big.
Yeah.
However, if we delay, it could be risky.
right.
I
Right.
agree.
Right.
I love the analogy of the warning light on the dashboard for me. And it doesn't matter if the engine's getting ready to blow up, if I need to change the oil,
Yeah.
if the cruise control's on, it doesn't matter what the situation is.
Right.
There's still a light on the dashboard.
Right.
And so I've had to learn through trial and error and stubbornness in some cases, and just not wanting to slow down or
Yeah.
whatever kind
Yeah.
of is going on around it. I get so caught up in life that I haven't always listened or I've been like, ooh, I don't see you on the
Yes.
dashboard.
Right.
And so I end up by the side of the road with a flat tire flagging somebody down to try to help.
Right.
Right.
So what I've learned is, like you said, it comes to different people in different ways. Sometimes I get it as sound outside of myself. Sometimes I get it as a thought that will randomly pop into my head. But whatever it is, I consider all of it a light. And it doesn't matter if it means the cruise control is on and all is well and you're getting ready to come to something really exciting. Slow down and pay attention, or
Right.
if I'm getting ready to have a flat, it doesn't matter. It usually comes the same way. Now there are exceptions to that in extreme cases that I've had in my life, but in terms of inner guidance, it just kind of happens that way for me. I mean, I don't know, how does it happen for you?
Well, it's so interesting, that we're talking about analogies of cars and symbols or signals and such, because I have noticed lately that anytime I am rushing, or if I'm trying to get something, trying to go a little faster, maybe than I need to be, I keep getting these messages to kind of take time to smell the roses, and it, might be I notice roses, but how it's been popping up is when I'm driving, I'll hit a yellow light.
Oh,
And I'll be
you're
turning,
forced
and
to
I'll
slow
go.
down, come
If
on,
I
slow-
don't,
yeah.
though, I have noticed myself going through the
Okay.
yellow. Okay, so the last time Mark and I ate dinner out, we had this beautiful young woman waitress, and she had a brace on, and it was because she went through a yellow light and had a really bad accident.
Oh my gosh.
And she had to be airlifted.
Oh,
They had
wow.
to get the jaws of life to cut her out of the car.
Holy cow.
And so I'm just hearing in my head, do you want the jaws of life? I'm like, no, I would really prefer to just slow down, So interesting, because there's so many aspects of my life that I need to slow down in, so interesting.
Well, how does your inner guidance come, Lisa? Does it appear like a warning light on the dashboard? I mean, I use that as an analogy, but how does it come for you?
Yeah, well, it's always been there all my life. I'm sure everyone has this inner guidance, whether we listen to it or not. It used to be that I only listened to it regarding my career, and I really did well with that.
That's juicy.
Yeah. Wouldn't listen to it regarding my personal life
Wow.
too much.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how we pick and choose the
I
areas?
know. Yeah, I'll just ignore that warning light when it comes to my personal happiness. But when it comes to money, oh yeah, baby. Let's bring it on.
Wow.
Not delaying that.
What a great awareness.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah, I just hear, I'm one of those, and I know we've talked about this before, maybe some of you, I hear inner voice. I actually sometimes hear an inner voice. Sometimes I hear a voice that's outside. No, I'm not schizophrenic. I hear a lot of things and see visuals as I'm waking up. I actually have seen, one time I saw, when I was waking up, a document that I looked at all the time online. Actually, it was the Indiana Finance Campaign manual.
Okay.
And here it was in my inner eye, and I'm scrolling down word for word, and I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm waking up and seeing this whole this whole online document. Why am I doing that when I can get up on the get up out of bed, go to the computer and read it that way? So I think my inner holiness was guiding me to let me know that we have everything at our fingertips if we are willing to access it and listen to it. I'm yet to understand why I was given that. And it's happened a lot where I actually see things that I have looked at for a long time, so that I know without a doubt that it's not some kind of crazy dream.
Right.
But yeah, I can't give a latest specific example, but my inner guidance comes a lot when I wake up, but then also in the heat of the moment, I get, just like Loretta, you were talking about, you might mention.
Oh yeah, that was a great story.
Yeah,
that was a great
tell
story.
your train story.
Yeah. So, you want the train story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I actually
train story.
Tell us a train story. Tell us a train story.
Right, I will. So last week I happened to be in Lucerne, Switzerland for business, right? I had business workshops all week long. And I actually had taken the train. I had flown into Zurich, taken the train from Zurich to Lucerne, and then I was in my workshops for 3 days. Then it came to having to go back, right, to Zurich to fly back out. So for some reason, I knew that I needed to go to the Lucerne train station to take the train back to Zurich. All of my colleagues were saying, no, take the train station at Rotkreuz because it's more of a direct, I don't know, not flight, because I was at path, thank you. And I'm still jet lagged, by the way. So, whatever, very jet lagged. But, they're like, no, because, if you don't, then going to Lucerne to go back to Zurich, you'd be backtracking, right? So you can save like 15 minutes. And I just, in my heart of hearts, I just knew I needed to take the train from Lucerne. But, I got pressured, kindly, right? My colleagues are wonderful. They were doing what they thought was best for me, okay, to save me an extra 15 or 20 minutes. So they drove me to the train station at Rotkreuz. I got on the train. I had a first-class train ticket. But the thing is that there were no available seats. And it's a 45-minute train ride to Zurich. Now, while that doesn't sound like so bad, but when you're already tired, you're jet lagged, I've been sitting in meetings for the last 3 days, I just wanted a seat where I could sit next to the window and stare out the window or read. Instead, I'm managing my suitcase on this bumpy, train going back and forth, hot with no air conditioning for 45 minutes. And standing. I had
holding your suitcase.
I had but I had no seat, right? And I just knew in my heart of hearts, because that train originally came from Lucerne before it got
that's
to
important.
it's affirmation.
Yes,
exactly.
We got major thunder going on
but
here.
my point is, and I know that sounds like such a silly example, but I just know that if I would have taken the train from Lucerne, I would have had a seat. And so I just had to go through the uncomfortableness.
Right.
It wasn't detrimental.
No,
I still got to Zurich,
Sure,
right? But just the uncomfortableness of not listening to my intuition. And so it didn't pan out 100% comfortable like it could have if I would have listened to my inner guidance.
And the feeling.
Yeah.
You know that inner guidance feeling because your other example,
Yeah.
share with the audience.
Oh, so I was actually, so I had to book my flight to Zurich, and this was a month before I took off. And I always stay at the Radisson Blu at the Zurich airport when I'm flying out. I just like it because it's attached to the airport. It's so convenient. I can do my last minute shopping. I've stayed there for so many years, right? So when I booked my flight, there was nothing available at the Radisson Blu Zurich. I was kind of like heartbroken, and I felt a little bit off balance because I don't have any other routine, right? So it's going to be a change of routine. So I did find something at the Hilton. I went ahead and booked it. I wasn't too happy about it. It was like a maybe 15-20 minute train ride, to the airport, but I dealt with it. So literally like 2 weeks later, I'm at work and I get this voice in my head that says, the Radisson Blu has an opening now. You need to go back in and rebook. And I thought to myself, okay, that's interesting. Well, when I heard it a second time, like 15 minutes later, I knew that somebody was telling me I need to do this. So I'm like, okay, so I dropped what I was doing, logged on to our travel site, and I looked at the Radisson Blu, and sure enough, it had an opening. And so I booked the opening there and canceled the Hilton. And I mean, just strange how there's somebody, some inner guidance wanted to tell me, that, hey, the thing that you want, right, is available.
Right. Who do you think that somebody is that's telling you?
I think, honestly, that it is my spirit guide. I do. I think my spirit guide knows my intention, and I think that he or she, actually I think there's a group of them. I feel like I have 4, and there's 1 woman and 3 men, and collectively they speak to me. But I think that they're trying to show me these little examples, so I trust them more.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to build a relationship
trust is
with
huge,
me.
isn't it?
It is huge. And I feel like in my life, I've gotten guidance similarly with small things so that I would pay attention and build up that trust so that when I get bigger guidance, that I would, move quickly, move swiftly into action.
Right.
I think that's huge. So true.
I agree. And sometimes I get weird stuff. Like the other day, I don't know why. Some of this stuff happens, but I just gotta laugh. So I woke up in bed, and as I'm waking up in bed, I am hearing, I don't know why, I'm hearing a Carly Simon and James Taylor song, Mockingbird. Mockingbird, have you heard? So, and that's why I'm not quitting my day job. But it was a fun song, and it's like they're really rocking, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. And I went to get out of bed, and I almost face planted because I'm wrapped up in the sheets, noticing that I'm dancing as I'm hearing this music. I must have been moving or something in bed.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
No idea, but I was so happy as I was waking up and hearing that. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but maybe it was just about having fun. I was partying somewhere. I don't know what that was guiding me to, but, I just thought that was really hilarious. And I think I get music a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about something. I'm not sure I've made the connections around what that guidance is helping me with.
Yeah.
There are times when it's super obvious, but
Maybe not to take life so seriously.
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
Could be.
I have a really funny story too. So for me, how I get it, it's a gut feeling.
Okay.
It's a gut thing. And it's always been a gut thing for me. That's just, and obviously the majority of my life, personal, business, it doesn't matter. I have not listened.
Yeah.
And I have trapped that energy in there, and it caused damage, over time because I wanted to hold it in for some reason. I thought maybe if I held it, it'd be bigger or better, or who knows what I thought, you know. But I was in Texas, and my daughter had just had a baby, and I wanted to help out as much as I could. And I knew that for me, because I had lost my mom when I was young, I wished that somebody would have just been there for me to clean the bathroom.
Right.
And make a little nest for me, plump up pillows or something
Cook
like
a
that.
meal, whatever.
Cook a meal, anything. And so I was very cognizant of that when I went there for her and wanted to be that way for her. But I was still kind of navigating my power in my relationship with her. And so when you kind of step back, when you've grown, because she's moved, I live here, and so we're both growing rapidly on our own, and then you get back together, and it's hard to remember how to hold your power and be who you are in an old role of mother and daughter. And so she would say, oh, I need this, 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 and this. Could you run to the store and get it for me? Which some of the things she didn't really need, right? But I felt felt myself kind of slide back into almost that enabling role.
Right.
And so I overbought things like at Walmart, which was near her house. And I knew I was on an extremely tight budget while I was there. And so my gut, like if people could have seen me, if I could have had this filmed, I'm telling you, it could have been on America's Funniest Home Videos. Because I walk out of Walmart, go to the car, load all the stuff up, get in my car, get out, walk back into Walmart, get into the return aisle.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
I did it 3 times on one trip. 3 times.
Wow.
I don't even know what the return people were thinking about
crazy,
me.
yeah.
I did this 2 or 3 days in a row each time. And I noticed my growth, which is so funny and embarrassing. But like I did it 3 times the first day. The second day, I only had to make a return once.
Right.
The third day, I actually went to the checkout line and then returned it before I checked out. So like I made huge progress in 3 days. But oh my God, oh my God, you know. But that was what it took to listen to my guidance, and my gut would start clenching as I was going into the checkout lane, and I knew to turn back. But it took me 3 days to listen.
Yeah.
But you know what? Huge growth, because you know, like you, I was feeling the discomfort, and if I hadn't have moved through the discomfort and gone to my car and then gone back and returned, if I hadn't been okay with feeling the discomfort, I wouldn't have had that growth.
So do you think that knowing what you know now, you're going to pay more attention maybe to that discomfort to not let it get that far to that point, right? Or actually it wouldn't be discomfort. Once you feel that beginning
as soon
signal,
as I feel that.
Right.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So when you're making a decision or taking an action that is not in alignment with your goals, your life path, however you perceive your highest good, you feel a clenching in your gut.
Now, it's almost like I feel pressure. It isn't the tight clenching like it used to be for years ago, but it's a queasiness.
Oh.
But it's queasiness.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And for me, it's a gentle urging.
Okay.
When the inner guidance is a gentle urging, you know, like honoring my free will.
In your chest?
Just the whole body.
Okay.
Gentle urging. And the wrong way to go is allowed, like, for example, if I take the smooth sailing route, my gentle urging says, Lisa, turn right. That's really the better way to go. Then my trying to figure it out ego, or whatever you want to call it, says, Lisa, turn left. You can always turn left. Do not turn right. That's 10 minutes longer. Lisa, you can turn right. You can turn left. However, I'm getting confused now. But, you know,
right.
You can turn right, Lisa, if you want. It's really going to be easier for you. Turn left now. So I really do. It's like this feeling.
Yes.
So I realize that more and more it's the gentle urging that's honoring our free will.
But I wonder if we could just find a way to, just trust ourselves enough too, that the minute that the minute that you hear turn right, it would be great to be able to say, okay, I'll turn right, and not have that inner battle. And I think that we still go through that so much, the inner battle.
A psychic once told me, this one psychic reader who seems to be really good, he said, well, you do it all the time, I can tell. He said, what I do is the first message I get, which is the inner guidance, oh, Lisa, turn, was it left?
Turn right.
Turn right. Turn right, Lisa. And then he said, the second message you go is, it says, turn left. And then the third message is trying to really talk you out of it. Turn left now. That's what you always do. He said, listen to the very first message. Turn right, Lisa.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
That's interesting. Sometimes I need to hear it more than once, though. It's the quiet. I feel like my internal guidance is the quieter. To your point, the gentler voice. Where my ego is like, I imagine my ego as like a little caveman standing on my shoulder that is got a big, huge club, and it's like turn right,
Right.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because we beat ourselves up when we don't
do.
when we don't listen or we
Right.
make a different choice.
Right.
It is or when I put my hand over the light on the warning light on the dashboard, and I go, I don't see you, I gotta get where I'm
Right,
going,
right,
I gotta get there.
Right.
So I think that's so important to understand. I think that's one thing that we all kind of agree on is
Yeah.
Yeah.
the guidance is much more kinder and gentle.
And it honors our free will, our free will to choose. The negative vortex, as I like to call it, it does not honor our free will to choose. It's
Right.
trying
It's
to
more
magnetically pull us into the
Yeah.
whirlwind of chaos.
Or the old
Right.
habits.
The
too.
old
Or the old
habits.
habits,
Right.
the roller coaster
Exactly.
ride.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, should we recap? I mean,
Sure.
yeah.
So we've talked about internal guidance, and we've talked about how our internal guidance is kind of like a warning light on the dashboard of a car that we're learning as we go along to pay attention to. And typically, what we have all learned is that it's the gentler voice, the kinder, gentler voice that honors our soul's path, that honors our free will, and really is kind and gentle and loving and supportive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's important. And I think that's about all the time that we have
Great.
this time.
Well, we're going to segue into another filming. It's May of 2017, by the way. And again, thank you so much for being with us. I'm Lisa.
I'm Lori.
Loretta.
Katrina.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.